Hello everybody, and of course welcome back to Dickie's Videos, where no war game remains unplayed. And here we are again, of course, with Field of Glory 2 and the upcoming tournament. This is of course for the year of 2021. This is of course the Rome versus the world, or against the world. So this video is going to be the faction overview. I have joined the tournament, and you'll of course see these in my tournament comparison videos of deployment, the battle, and then the overview videos. This of course starts on the 26th of April 2021 at 10 AM, and you don't need to know that. So we're going to be looking at each round today, and looking at the factions, and seeing the pros and cons, and anything in between. I think there's a typo on the Slytherin site, because it's either I'm doing this wrong, but I can't see for the first round, which is Roman 200 BC to 209 versus Carthaginian Hannibal in Africa. This is the first round, and I think there is a typo. I think it's 219. So we're going to have a quick look at the round 1, and then we're going to go and look at round 2 and to round 5. So yeah, really stoked. This is by far probably my favourite round at the moment in time, is of course the old Punic War, Rome versus Carthage. So we'll have a quick look. Remember, each battle is played on a medium-sized battle. This is more of a retrospect, and it's Mediterranean agricultural, I think the map is typed. Yes, I think it is for this round. So, looking at the Romano list. So, we know Roman cavalry is trash, so the Carthage better bring their A game. So, looking at the top selection here for the Romans, armoured cavalry, decent unit, giving us 2 units of cavalry here. Limited cavalry options here straight away. And if we look at the Carthaginians, cavalry galore. Cavalry galore. Then we come down to the light javelin horse, which is good. It's armoured cavalry, so it's all right. It's all right, but the Chariot will be doing the backup dancing of blocking the Carthaginian cavalry, if you know how to use it properly. So we come down to the veterans. Pretty good point, solid unit, will impact them heavy foot troops out of the way. The only thing I'm worried about with the Carthaginian list is the veteran African spearmen. I absolutely love this unit. And then we come down to the veteran Italian foot. Mwah, fantastic medium unit. So the Romans are benefiting the heavy foot here because the Carthaginians don't have very much heavy foot. They've got the veteran African spearmen and the warband. Oh, they do have African spearmen basic, but the rest of it is medium foot, trash medium foot. Actually, I take that back. The Spanish, in the right situations, are brilliant. I've got to say, this unit is very underutilised, and I've underutilised it as we go. So I will be definitely taking, depending on what terrain factor we have, all of the veteran Hastati, because they are the bee's knees. I absolutely love that unit. Very expensive, but it hits hard. Putting a sub-general in there just makes it even worse. Then I think we come down to the basic Hastati principles, which I probably would take over the Warband. I think the Warband are pointless on this Roman list. And we come down to a really good unit is the Chariot, the blocking the living bejesus out of that Carthaginian cavalry. So instantly I see a massive disadvantage for the Romans. That's the cavalry, the Carthaginians, and the elephants they're going to bring. We come down to the Spanish Italian foot. So the Spanish are better because they are impact. Even though we have light spear swordsmen for the Italian foot, the Spanish are good. Are really good. I like that unit. And they come down to regular foot. If we're desperate for the Royal Legionaries and the Velites, fantastic Javelin Light Spear Swordsman. So, absolutely such a good unit. So, I'd probably take I'd probably take 3 units of Astarte here. Or maybe even 2, I think, at this point costage. But depending on the it's all depending on the field. It's not looking good for the Romans with the cavalry. I've got to outlight as well, so we'll take all of that. We've got to make sure their Velites are really good. That is awesome. Javelin, light spear, and swordman. Pretty impressed with that. So we would deploy in a skirmish location, depending what we're doing, who's defending what. This field would benefit the Romans. An open field here would punish the Roman Carthaginians, but also the Romans, of course, suffering the less don't have very much mobility due to the cavalry. I mean, we could take some Spanish or whatever we want with these last two points, but regardless of that, solid Roman faction, solid. And of course, sticking a general in the veteran Hastati. You know, the POAs just stack. This will run everything through, you know, the Pelham as well, with just the impact. 200 foot, 200 POA, modifier, enemy foot cohesion, just losing impact. 100 versus elephant mounted, unless charging mounted. Absolutely brilliant. Good combination. Things to think about so far. The Romans particularly don't have the cavalry to out-cavalry the Carthaginians. So you got to use your Triarii. Your Triarii, offensive spearmen, highly superior armoured. Small unit, if the Triarii get in combat with a probably African spearman unit, these will lose eventually because of the small nature of the unit. But apart from that, pretty good. We'll have a look at good old Hannibal. Good old Hannibal. Good old Hannibal. So, you know, I'd say a slight underdog here on this list. We are able to bring 3 elephants, which is expensive. 60 points is expensive. I would take them all. I would take all the elephants. But the only thing you've got to worry about with the elephants is, of course, disrupting your own cavalry, and also the enemy Roman velites shooting the crap out of them. And the next unit down, we've got the armoured cavalry, the veteran armoured cavalry, and the noble cavalry. It's pricey. That armoured cavalry is pricey, 60 points. I'd probably still want to out-cavalry the Romans just to try and bait them out. This is going to be interesting, this first round, because it's going to take people who have played this. Then we come down to the light javelins, which would be good to support the cavalry, but not because the Romans don't have much cavalry. It's kind of pointless to anti-cavalry tactics. Heavy artillery. Nah, there's no point. But I would take the extra unit of veteran African spearmen because that unit is brilliant. A sticking-head sub-general you're seeing there adds on to it. We come down to the veteran Italian foot. If there is enough rough terrain for this unit to sit on there, yes, please. It is brilliant. Warband. I'm not sure. This is a mixed list. Depending on the field, it's all going to come down to what terrain factors. Is there a lot of rough terrain? Because we are Mediterranean agricultural, so there is going to be a scarce amount. So we come down to the veteran Italian foot, which I probably would take them, and they'll be sitting on some flanks, hopefully to try and get in combat with some of the weaker Roman units, as in probably the Hastati principles or even the Triarii. They might get lucky there. Come down to the warbands, which I don't think I'd want to take because they're only going to be impact 4 and they're protected. Most of the Roman troops have higher armor values. We have it's African spearmen, which I want a unit that's going to stay there. And then we come down to the fact is here we can have a whole host of Spanish, which I think I would go mostly. I would probably use mostly Spanish here if I could, and then we'll just sit. Like I said, terrain thing, and then we've got to hack out the lights here. So we've got to make sure we outlight the Romans, out cavalry, and have them distinct advantages there. But you know what? It's still a fuss. It's going to be a hard fight for the Carthaginians. But regardless, I think the Carthaginians have a very mixed bag of troops. They've got more selection. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it's in the Romans' ball game. If the Romans don't mess it up, it's going to be a surefire win for the Romans. But if the Romans mess it up, the Carthage could probably steal this. So, there we go. 2 factions on the brink of war for round 1. Depending on terrain, could benefit the Carthaginians, but also if the Romans just steamroller into the Carthage line, they could drop them. So the Carthage main points: cavalry, elephants, good selection of units. Romans, they've got less selection, but harder hitting, but a decreased amount of medium foot and cavalry with the same amount of lights. Going to be an interesting fight. So, brilliant. So here we go. We'll have a look at round 2 coming next. So here we are with round 2. It's going to be another interesting round. I forgot to do the Mediterranean hilly. So round 2, of course, is Asia Minor. Roman with Bithynian versus Pontic with Armenian Valley. Who? Interesting. Oh, these Romans are in some trouble here. Pikes, Asian mix. It's not entirely sure the Romans are going to be happy here. This is unfortunately. I'm going to have a bit of practice with these nations before this comes out. Let's just make sure the top seat is on. Oh no. Is the hot seat? Yeah, it is. Sorry, it's just got to make sure I can actually go. So here we are with the Roman list. Oh, it's odd list. So we'll go down looking at here. So we're actually given a good selection here for the Romans rather than the basic ones are normally here. So we got elephant, of course, is bog standard elephant, average, no capabilities. A good selection of cavalry for once for the Roman forces. Armoured, noble cavalry, veteran armoured, and noble cavalry and armoured. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 units of cavalry. Also access to some light archers. So good mix here. And then we just got a whole ton of light javelin troops. Heavy artillery, nah. I'm not bothered. Too mobile. The combats will be a fire road. And then we come down to the veteran elite. Creme diddy creme. Even 100 points. That's pricey. That is pricey. And we come down to the Roman legionaries at 78 points. Just heavy foot superior. Just a step down, but still very expensive. We are access to superior warbands. To be honest, I would maybe choose that, but I think we're facing a cavalry army. And then we've got the basic average Romans who are still armoured. Thracians with heavy weapons. Do not underestimate that unit. Fantastic. Medium spearmen. Offensive spearmen would be good in certain positions with with rough terrain. Come down to the Spanish, which are always good to have 1 or 2 units of impact medium foot. Mass Thracian pellets. Pretty good, but still, I think we're fighting a heavy foot army. It's going bad for them. Irregular foot, if we're desperate, but I don't think we're ever going to be that desperate. Raw legionaries, and of course archers, pellets, how do you pronounce them? Slingers and light javelins. So, it's a difficult match because we can definitely. Yes, a lot of points for the cavalry. A lot of points. But I think if we don't, we'll get massively out-cavalried and then we'll get destroyed. So this, I'm not paying heed to any terrain here, folks. I'm just looking at a selection of forces we may choose. I think the veteran Roman legions are too expensive. I think they're too expensive to take for this list. I think we'll get completely outnumbered here. Yeah, but... we could have plenty of Thracians, which would be awesome. I think if we had spare points, we would that. But I think slingers, pellets, archers. You see, I think I would go with the elephant in the centre of this list, or maybe directed towards the enemy cavalry. I think this I'm going to have to practice this round, and like I said, I'm completely unfamiliar with this. With 84 points left, I mean, we could go for 2 medium spearmen. But that's kind of it. That's what I'd come with. I don't know if I'd take the veteran Roman. 96 points. That's pricey. Please comment below if you would take that unit, because I think it's expensive. I don't think it's... That's just 100 points. And I could have a lot more for that. It's going to steamroll at everything, but it's still expensive. So there we go. Mixed bag with the Romans. Seems a good mix of heavy and medium foot, of heavy weapons, offensive spearmen, and noble and armoured and veteran cavalry. Of course, with a sub-general placed in the right place with the Roman legionaries, they still get very good POAs, which I think would be more than a match for the Pontic. So there we go. We'll have a look at the Pontic Forces. This, depending, of course, on the terrain roll-up, depending how this goes. Okay, so we'll start from the top. The good old, fantastic Cataphracts. Brilliant. Will absolutely roll over the Roman noble cavalry, but the Roman noble cavalry will evade, leaving this unit in the middle of nowhere at 68 points. Tempted, but I am tempted. Then we come down to the noble lancer, which is armoured superior lancer, which is fan-dazzy-doo. Do we actually have one? Where is it? I can't see that unit on the board. Odd. It says quantity 1, and I can't see it. There must be something I'm doing wrong there. We come down to the Iranian cavalry with sword, not bow. Not an Iranian cavalry with bow, which I do like the ones with bows because they are bloody annoying. Fantastic unit, but superiorly slightly expensive. No point in ever a Field of Glory 2 I thought taking a Scythe bloody Terrier is going to help. Destroyed if they were to break enemy after one round of cover. Which, in what bloody world does this happen? Please comment below, because it's not going to take it. Horse archers and javelin, and we come down to the pikes. But in textile armor, these will take massive cohesion drops on the impact against Romans. These head-on will, if they survive the impact, they will do very well. But I think if they don't, they're going to get hacked up. We've got imitation legionaries, we've got the phalanxmen with heavy weapons, offensive spearmen, Thracians with rompire with heavy weapon, with like the Roman list, irregular foot, meh, massed archers, eastern archers, lots. It's a mixed bag. It's very much a mixed bag here for these. I'd be interested to see what the computer would fill this army with. If we click auto deploy and see what would be, it's very much a medium foot army. Very much. I don't know what I'll do here. It's a hard list. You know, depending on terrain and what we could outnumber, the Romans are going to hit here, and they are going. So it's the lancers, these cataphracts, and the where are they? Did we actually get a chose lancers? No, we didn't. I don't know why that says quantity 1 and I can't see the unit on the board. Well, but I'm sure there's some valid reason. But it's going to be difficult for the Pontic, but I think if they hold the line long enough for their cavalry to do the damage, it's going to be mostly a medium heavy foot slog with the cavalry dancing around. I think Pontic have the advantage with the cavalry, but it's not going to be pretty either way. So my head says Roman. But the Pontic do have a good mix. It's like always, they have that advantage of the mix of units and the heavy weapons and the offensive spearmen. The offensive weapons would be the Thracians with rompire. I don't think actually this auto select did any. Didn't choose any, did it? No, it didn't. Because that heavy weapon is plus 100 POL and it's been a charging mounted shock troops, and that's handy. That is handy for a medium foot weapon. Hard decisions. The Romans have the heavy foot. They have a good heavy foot, good mediums. The heavy foot are solid heavy foot, but the Pontic heavy foot is less likely. Like the pikemen aren't as good, I don't think. But if they survive the impact of the Romans, it will really mess their day up. But of course, the Cataphracts really helps the Pontic. It's going to be a mixed decision. I don't think I've got a clear winner here or a clear favourite. But I like the chances of the Romans if they get good impacts. But yet again, if the terrain factor benefits the Pontic, it's all in their face. Ooh, so we'll leave that there. I'm undecided, but slightly ever swaying towards the Roman if impacts go well. So we'll have a look at the next round, guys and girls. So here we are with round 3. This is, of course, Roman versus Dacian and Samaritan. Oh, this is going to be a killer. This is on Northern Europe. Would it? I want to say yes, it is. And oh, man, I've got to see the... the Romans are in for a little bit of a treat here. The Phalanxmen. So we'll have a quick look at what the Romans do as a medium force. So we'll have a look at what we've got. Veteran Roman cavalry, brilliant. Of course, superior armored light spear sword. Roman lancer, 44 points. To be honest with you, I'd say it's slightly better than the veteran Roman cavalry for a lot less points. And then box down a Roman cavalry, horse archers, light javelin horse, heavy artillery, light artillery, which I will not be taking, Praetorian Guard, which if you don't take this unit in this round, you shall be all punished. Roman Legionaries up to 4 units, which is fantastic. These are going to absolutely wreck the medium fort. If there's not any rough terrain, it's going to be... We've got Warband, which particularly I won't keep, or Roman... the crappier Romans, or the auxiliary, raw... Maybe archers, but I don't think so. I don't think we're going to be staying around long enough for that to happen. Archers thing. So this is going to be... I think this is going to be a slap him in the face list. I think I'll take all of the Roman cavalry there. And I think it's just going to be all Roman legionaries, light javelin, slingers, all the lights we can have. If there's a lot of rough terrain in the field, we may change this list slightly and go for some more auxiliary, which would just are going to stay back, fill in the gaps from the rear. That leaves us 105 points left. Honestly, I still don't want to go for a unit's anything else like that. This would be my list. Praetorian Guard, just going to walk in there. I'm just going to slap them in the face. Simple as. But if there's more rough terrain, we may take more auxiliary and put them on the flanks where the rough terrain is. But the Dacian list is good. It's cavalry and it's good. And with the allies as well, it's going to be a mixed faction. So here we go. We've got armoured lancers, which definitely going to out-POA the Roman cavalry here. So the Romans are superior armoured light spear, but they are gonna absolutely own the Romans on impact there. The impact is just so much impact. If they get through the line, and they're a beautiful model as well, so don't forget that. And depending on what forces were selected and things. So we come down to the noble cavalry, which I won't take. May take a couple of units of light archers or javelin to disrupt the Roman cavalry. Heavy artillery, I will not take. Light artillery, I will not take. I picked Warband, are going to be fantastic. Fortunately, loose order, but the superior, but they take the extra cohesion checks. Loose order again. We will take all of the Phalanxmen because we are going to choppity chop, mofo. And if I could, stick a sub-general in there. Oh, we can have up to 15. You think we take all the lights, and then what we do, we just go crazy-ass mofo. We could go blob tactic if there's enough rough terrain for us to sit on. But I think we just take the cavalry advantage. Take the blob loose order, warband. You see, we are warriors, we're medium foot, so we could sit there on rough terrain, but once we get hit by a Roman unit, we're going to get slapped in the face. Yeah, this is a mixed one. The Romans don't particularly have the cavalry to outmatch, but if we get lucky, you know what, we'd have to choose a rebel, but in there, I think I'd probably do a bit of optimization on this rather than just what I've done. So what I'd probably do is the sub-generals would go into the Phalanxmen, and that POA advantage will stack with a heavy weapon, troop quality, and the general POA is going to be brilliant. That is going to be hacking up Romans left, right, and centre. But you know what? Yet again, the Romans have the sturdier heavy foot. But the Dacians, good mediums, good cavalry. Mediums that I think could take on the Romans in a slight, I don't know, money's on the Romans here. But on a bad day, the Dacians, I think, would really hurt them. If there's lots of medium rough terrain on this factor, you know, the cavalry could really dominate and put in these flanks. But these Praetorian guards are going to mess the Dacians' day up. Money on the Romans, but I think on a bad day, the Dacians could steal the day with using some smart cavalry movements, because all their cavalry does really POA the Roman cavalry. Interesting round yet again. Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to have to practice these games. So, we'll see you on the next round, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to round 4, and this is Mesopotamia. I'm sure I'm butchering that. This is a slightly a Roman list I don't think I've ever played. Oh, this is yet again going to be interesting. Oh, sexy. Look at that big boy. Oh, we got that Roman heavy armoured lancer. This is versus Sassanid Persians in Middle Eastern agricultural map, which is going to be a bummer for the Romans if the Persians get a good rough terrain. But holy crud, what a list for the Persians. Beautiful, in my opinion. So let's have a quick look. So we've got, of course, very expensive Cataphracts. I don't know what I'm going to choose here. I'm not going to be honest here. We're going to look at all the factions, look at the list, what we've got. So we've got really good Lancers, Roman late Lancers, which is armoured, veteran Roman late, very expensive late cavalry as well. A good mix of nomad light archers, some more slightly average bow cavalry, heavy artillery, light artillery I won't take. Gaul. So these are just heavy foot. Got to be careful of the rough terrain here. Good impact there. The auxiliary, not as good. And then going down to the slightly average legions. Oh, this is such a late list because there's shockingly troops. Auxiliary, archers. I do not know what to choose here. I'm just going to click autofill and see what we get. We'll take these bloody artillery off because there's just no point. I'd probably most likely choose just for giggles, the most expensive cavalry. But yeah, it's a late list. Some of these units are trash. Some of these later units down here, the auxiliary below, are just trash. What the case is here, depending on the terrain factor, is if we take more medium foot to take the medium foot off the Sassanid Persians. But tricky for the Romans. I don't think the Romans have the quality here now. And I think they will struggle against the Persians. So here we're looking at the Persian list, starting, which is completely new to me as well. We've got the elephants, which are just elephants, as we've seen before in the Field of Glory 2. Coming down to Cataphracts, fully armoured, just as the Romans. Is there slightly better? It's superior. 68, but exactly the same, just different model. Expert horse archers, so could kite away some of the Roman cavalry. Armoured archer, yet again, 10 units. Light archers, the heavy foot. This is what's going to be the hard thing with the Romans. Most of them are slight impact troops, but medium foot. Irregular foot, which could take some rough terrain. Levy spearmen, no. So at the moment in time, the Persian list is heavy foot, cavalry, and elephants. But of course, remember, we've got to keep this. We've got to keep the elephants away from the cavalry. So I think that's what I'll do. This list here, depending on the terrain, if we have the terrain to have tons of archers camping in the rough terrain, we would. But I think we'll just take all the heavy foot and would stay away from all the rough terrain, and would just go and send the elephants in to smash the Romans when they get into the open. I think we'd have all the cavalry, all the heavy foot, and then we'll just go... Oh, we can't have very much. Oh, we could have Eastern archers. Eastern, yeah. Oh, God, I love these. I love the Eastern archers models. It's a strong Persian list. I'm particularly worried for the Romans here. And we could just bob out for the rest of the points for more shooty stuff. I think that's not far off what I would choose. And 32 points. Oh, it's going to ask me to get some irregular foot, which, yeah, I guess they can just sit back and have a great day. That's not far off what I'll choose, I think. I think the Romans are going to be in trouble here with a lesser infantry. This is where I think as the rounds go on, the Romans are, I think, more at a disadvantage. My money on the Persians here. The Romans gotta play their tricks with their good impact infantry, but the Persians staying back using the cataphracts, elephants in the open could hurt them. Ooh. Mesopotamia, this is going to be another interesting round. I like the new tournament coming up because it's going to be so I'm going to have to practice with these factions against each other. So, money on the Persians. I think the Romans are particularly going to struggle here, but we'll certainly see what happens. So, we'll come down now to the 5th and final round. So here we come down to the 5th and final round of this tournament. This is Gaul 451. This is a Roman list, which is 425.92 with allies. I think there is a mistake, and please correct me if I'm wrong, please, because I've been sat here for 10 minutes trying to find the right nation, but I can't. It's Hunnic Western 367. With 451. The only one I can find is the Hunnic, that one there. Can't find a one with Germanic horse tribes, or is it foot tribes? Oh, it's foot tribes, sorry. Which is 260. Yeah, there's a slight error there, I think, on the... I don't know if it is on the slivering page is wrong, but I can't choose that right time. But it's near enough as correct as I can. Please correct me below in the chat. Yeah, another very unfamiliar nation, which I probably haven't played as much. Like I said, I'm going to do some practice next couple of weeks. So Roman and Alan. Oh, these later lists just get trashy infantry. Just like the Mesopotamia, the round 4, we've got a good mix of stuff. A good, like, cavalry is... out of this world. I call it Byzantine cavalry more than anything else. I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. Not a clue. Not a clue. But we'll look at the list anyway. We'll take off all this bloody crappy artillery. So we'll look at that again. We've got Cataphracts at the top at 68 points. Brilliant. Can't dealt that unit whatsoever. It's going to run in there. It's going to hit people. They're going to die. Expert harbour archers, what it says on the tin, it's going to walk in there. It's armoured. Swordsman is pretty good as well. Armoured lancers, even better. Roman late lancers, veteran late, armoured lancers, horse archers, Roman cavalry. Oh my word, it just doesn't stop. Nomad light horse archers, lighter cavalry. And then we come down to the infantry, which is not as good. We've got the average sub-armour heavy foot unit, irregular foot. Oh my god, we even get worse list. Roman auxiliary archers, eastern archers, javelins. A cavalry strong list here for the final round. Particularly, I'm not comfortable with it whatsoever. Depending on the terrain, what happens on the terrain. If there's lots of hills, the Romans are in trouble. If it's open, we can use the cavalry to smash the forces here. Well, we're just going to select whatever. But I'd probably go more cavalry in this list. Just because we just need to hammer it home with the impact. But really not comfortable with it. So, looking at the Hunnic list, so this mainly, I think, this last round is going to be a cavalry off. But the Romans' cavalry is slightly better, I would say. So, looking at the Hunnic list, we've got, of course, the expert armoured horse archer, superior armoured bow swordsman, can evade, armoured noble lancer, fierce nomad archer, protected, but going to be pumping out loads of shots, noble lancers, protected lancer, not armoured. Nomad horse archers, noble cavalry, light horse archers. So the Hunnic have a decision. Or cavalry or a mix of cavalry and infantry. But I think I would go top down. I'd literally be doing this. And I think I'm going to do this on the last round. Is just do that. I click auto deploy. And that's what that would do. I'd select all the cavalry. I won't bother with infantry. This infantry can go and sit in there all day. I think the case here is going to be about shooting them up with our horse archers and then destroying them with our lancers. I think that's the way it is. The Roman infantry is not good. So we click this here. So the Hunnic, of course, should always be strong with the cavalry, but this is going to be a mixed. I'm not really comfortable with it at all either. But the Roman cavalry is going to be in trouble. You've got to counterbalance the harder hitting lancers with archers, because the Huns will just shoot, disrupt and charge with the lancers. That's what they need to do. But the Romans need to hem the western Huns in and destroy them with infantry and, of course, cavalry tactics. I think a mixed line with the cavalry and infantry would really help, but they've got to really cut them into pieces. But depending on what the terrain is, this is a hard round. I'm undecided. I don't know who would win this one, who the benefit is. You know, they've both got the pros and cons as it is, but the Roman infantry is trash. It's trash. You're going to be using it for zone of control, blocking the Hunnic cavalry up. That's the main thing. But the Huns are going to be shooting and then charging in with the lancers. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We've gone through the 5 rounds of the tournament today. In the next couple of weeks when the tournament happens, my videos will be coming in: the deployment video, the battle, and then the overview where I look at the battle. Can't wait for this tournament. It is going to be absolutely epic. So click that like, click the subscribe button, and of course we'll come back on the tournament in a couple of weeks' time. And have a great day.